Hi everybody! I hope you had a great Easter because we sure did. And then all kinds of fun happened after they left and I can't wait to share it with you. So the company is gone. We fed them like kings and queens. We're all very full. But also our patio was finished just before Easter, and I'm dying to show you that, but not today. We had to run down to the local hardware store, Rona, and get some masking tape because we have to paint everything out there before I show it to you. So, but actually it made a good bedroom for all the guests while they were here, and it was quite nice. So, we did go to Rona for the masking tape, and I had the biggest surprise because I said I wasn't going to get any more orchids, and the grocery stores, as you know, all we ever get is orchids in moss, and you know I always change them to bark and they're always happy afterwards. Well, Rona, it's a new store, or the old Rona, and if you live in Salmon Arm, you better get down there because normally in the grocery stores, our orchids are close to $50. They have orchids down at Rona for $21, but they're big ones, they're full-size ones, they're $50 anywhere else in town. So, and not only that, but I got the only one like this. There's lots of orchids there, and they're in bark. So my goodness, if you're new to orchids, or if you're in Salmon Arm and you're thinking, okay, I want to try an orchid, this is the perfect time, and that's probably the perfect orchid because it's not going to get shocked by a medium change because they're already in bark. The price is excellent, and I'm going to be showing you exactly how to care for it as time goes by. So what more can you ask for? Now I get to show you my orchid. Now, everybody knows what a Paloric Orchid is. I have, and I paid quite a good price for this extremely baby Fel Sogo Vivian. I ordered it online from Roehampton Orchids, and you notice this is a Paloric Orchid, and she's doing really well. She's got lots more blooms coming, and so a Paloric Orchid, it's used to describe, Paloric in Greek or something means monstrous, but it's just, this is a Paloric phalaenopsis, and it's usually describes the condition of irregular flowers such as those that are bisymmetrical. So they produce floral parts of each set that are alike, achieving symmetry. The term Paloria, interestingly Greek for monster, was coined in the 18th century. This orchid is Paloric condition is subject to how people think. And usually it's something that's gone array in the petals. It's not quite the normal picture of an orchid that you expect. So they had orchids. Of course, I wasn't looking for orchids when I first went in, and I got to the paint table, and here's this orchid on the counter, not knowing they had more in the store. This has got to be, you tell me what you think, but none of them have opened like my other Paloric Orchid. This was the only one this color which I loved. Then I looked down and seen it was in bark. Now it's very dry. I'm going to show you that after. So I think it's a Paloric Orchid. And they had lots of orchids in plastic, all big ones, and some like my big lip, which I'll show you after if I don't talk too much. My big lip has finally flowered for Easter. Most of my orchids have been in flower since the end of February. Some started around Valentine's Day and they're still in flowers. Some have lost a couple flowers. Now, this says, growing responsibly from start to finish in Canada. Wow! And they're in bark, and this is the name of the company, so we can check on it, because I've never seen this. And hey, they're smart, they're in bark. I'm so happy. So what I did, and this is what you should probably do, even though it's in bark, and I'm going to show you, I went out to that shed where I keep my bark, and it's medium-sized Rexus fir bark that I order from Buckerfield's in a huge big sack. And I used to get large, but I've been doing good with the medium. It's so much cheaper to buy that way. I filled the pot, and this is the only orchid pot I could find out there. So I filled the pot that I'm going to use, and this is what I will do. And this, I'm going to put some water in. And I'm going to put about 1/4 teaspoon of seaweed extract and Kelly Magic. So now I'm going to get my 1/4 teaspoon. I was so excited. So here's my Kelly Magic, and I keep them in dish soap bottles that have this nice little top, because it's so much easier to use. So I'm going to put 1/4 teaspoon. It's so much easier to pour, no drip, no mess. And I put the seaweed extract. Can be any brand of seaweed extract. Mine's from Vancouver Island because it's close. 1/4 teaspoon. No drip, no mess because of these bottles. So I got seaweed and Kelly Magic. It's called Kelly Magic. You can find that online. I bought mine through Amazon. So we're going to stir it up. And this bark is going to soak for 3 days when I come back and repot this orchid. So I'll make sure you stir it really good. And we'll just put that there for a minute. Now, we'll get our little Paloric one over there. And let's check it out. So you've just got home and you found this beautiful orchid, and you know what I did? and his wife might watch this video. I was in line and this fellow had a lily. And I said, oh my goodness, are you sure you don't want to get an orchid instead of a lily? And he said, I don't know. I think I buy orchids and they don't survive. And I said, oh, but these are in bark and they're way cheaper than the grocery stores. And he said, maybe I should get one of each. And he ran over and picked an orchid off the counter, and he went back because he was in front of me in the lineup for the till. And he took one, and I gave him my little business card for YouTube so his wife can watch. So, hey, if you do watch, then give me a message under the video. So anyway, the first thing you want to do, because it was like this, but it was the only one, so I never went to check nothing. I looked, it looks like bark. Is it bark all the way down? We'll find out. But it's beautiful and it's different, so I had to. Okay, so let's pull it out. And Is it in bark? And look at this. It's still a little damp on the bottom, but it's very dry on the top. Look at this. This is just dry. These are very dry. Very, very, even this nice big one is dry. So the leaves are good, they're firm, and they're upright. And we all know they're better dry. I always grow on the dry side. They're way better dry than wet. Maybe for a professional, somebody that's used to growing in moss, this is fine. But for us people way up in the sticks of Canada, yes, so all of these you can see in the pot. And in 3 days, I'm going to repot it. But what I see is it is nice and moist on the bottom. In the pot, but it looks quite dry. So what I've done is I did mix in this measuring cup a little bit of the same mixture. I put about a quarter, actually less. I put a couple drops of Kelly Magic and a couple drops of seaweed extract. I'm going to add a little bit more water so it can soak good. So normally in moss, they don't need watered, and I don't water them right away. But because this one is in bark, and if you do have one in moss that you just got from the grocery store, then check back to one of my videos. I'll put a link underneath to find out how I changed from moss to bark. Basically the same, but it's a little harder on the orchid. Anytime you change the medium on your orchid, it causes stress. And I normally don't lose flowers or blossoms when I do it. Once in a blue moon, I lose 1 or 2 blossoms. And I'll show you the 2 in the bottles I just did still have their flowers. So let's add a little bit more so that can soak real good. And it wants to fall over, so I think I can fix that. I got a little glass cup, and if I stick it down the side, I probably have to put another one. I think I have 2. So, there. We're going to let that have a nice soak, probably for 5 to 10 minutes. Then I'm going to put it back in the pot it was in. I prefer, actually I'll probably sit it in this pot. So it still gets light. To me, the pot that was in, there was no airspace at all, but they should put them in these pots for shipping so they don't fall over and they have weight. But they've been growing them in these plastic pots, which are fine. And they've gotten light because the roots were green. Here, it was so tight in here it wouldn't get light. You don't want to keep putting it in this one. If you do want to put it in another pot on the outside, make sure you got room for air to go in. But the light will not get in. Some of it will, but make sure you got room. These are aerial. They love air. They love air. They need air to survive just as much as they need water. So I'll put it in here so that it gets light and it will hold it till repotting day. So as soon as it's had a good soak, that's what I will do. And I will show you the pots I did in the bottle, our experiment from the last video, how they're doing. And I'll give you a quick tour before I go, but I'm so hope you all had a good Easter like we did. You know, when we were kids, my brother came up, and his wife and their daughter, and their daughter's married, but her husband sadly had to to go to Michigan. His mother wasn't well, so and she came here because she has to work Tuesday. So anyway, we always hunted for eggs when we were kids. And I got up the other morning, and I have never hunted for eggs since. So I got up, and we're early risers, most of us. Jack and I and my brother are really early risers. So I get up, and I'm going to make breakfast and coffee for everybody. And, oh, there's an egg. And, oh, there's another egg. And I was getting really excited. And I found all these eggs. And they're nice ones too. So I had lots of fun, and now I limit myself because I have lost some weight, and I limit myself, so one a day. This doesn't count as one. This is way too big. So yeah, and because of the headache, it's almost gone. There's just this much of it left, and it's not really a headache, it's more like a pain, but it's way better. So thank you for your prayers too, because prayers really help, and it's such a little bit of suffering compared to other sufferings people are going through. So I'm thankful it's starting to heal. So anyway, we had fun here, and it was nice to see everybody. So I'm going to give you a quick tour, and none of the housework's done, because you can imagine who does housework when they have company. So we managed to get the dishes done, and I think the rest are still in the dishwasher. I haven't done that either. So, okay, let's do a tour. Get this out of here very gently. Oh, I get excited. I know, I do. But look at this. How could I not get another orchid? And I'm pretty sure this could be a Paloric. It has to be, because you see the unusual, the unusual part of the monster orchid is that the centers don't open. And that's how this one is too. And so I bought that one very expensive, and it's doing well. And there's a close-up of how dry these are. I will miss this aerial root a few times while I'm cleaning up in the kitchen. But the leaves are all nice and firm, which is what you want when you're picking out your orchid. You don't want one with hangy leaves. That's saying this orchid's very sad. So, wow. Pretty exciting. Okay, let's go over here. Now, the last bottle experiment, and they've still kept all their flowers. And I noticed I've been watering them twice a week, and I have noticed that the roots are seeming happier in there, and I can't bring it down right now, but it was watered Sunday. The leaves are all nice and firm and upright, and the flowers are still on. And of course, these are my orchids since February. And this is the one that's got the terminal spike coming, I think. There's no sign of it yet. And it's still in here. It still seems to be doing okay. And the dendrobium has started to lose a few flowers. They don't stay in flower as long as your phals, but it has been beautiful, and we have been thoroughly enjoying it. And here's the last little orchid that I picked up at the grocery store in moss and changed to bark. And it's doing well. It's got healthy leaves. It's still doing good. And I've been watering it twice a week, and I haven't gone in to check it lately. So, but we've still got lots of flowers. I mean, they're just so beautiful. I mean, everybody can do this. Now these are ready to open and they haven't opened. There's also a new leaf coming, which is nice. I didn't even take time to put the misters on today. Look at this. And if you look, this is dry. I might walk around and mist, but it's lightly and from a distance, and I always mist the pots to encourage root growth, and a light mist here. So let's go over here. My big lip phalaenopsis is in bloom. She's beautiful. There was some like this here. I don't think they were big lips. I couldn't get in. They had them up high, but they were the same striped design. They were very pretty. They had some of them. But the sizes of the flowers here are just something nice. And here. So here's Minnie Mart. She has two open. I think it's the last two. She's still from Roehampton in 2021. Gotten as a very small baby. Same with Shariana. But they're alive and doing good. Okay. And out here, I had to put the cymbidium out because it was scented and my brother has asthma. So it's been out on the patio. It's lost some flowers, but it's still doing really good. And the other window, hi honey. He's hiding. Okay, the other window, and then we're good. Okay. Look at the size of this. Is quite a big one. This is the one that got a bit of, I thought it was black fungus, and I chopped it off. I didn't want to take any chances. So it's very beautiful. And my basket. And this was a one lonely one, but it's coming healthier all the time. Lots of new flowers coming here. And this is an orchid I've had a long time in a traffic cone that I painted and Jack drilled holes in. And he actually made the stand. So that's it. We'll see you in about 3 days to repot that orchid. Bye for now.